Hello. I had no idea how many people are going to turn up for this. That will be a very interesting question. Hang on. Finally got the actual webcam on my laptop to work, which hasn't been working for ages. And of course, now looking at the results, I'm realizing, well, the camera on my laptop looks like crap. So I don't know why I was sweating so much the fact that I couldn't get it to work before. But here we are. Hello. Yes. Is that like a big revelation? Like, were you were you not expecting that, Brian? That I don't know. I don't even know how to. I don't know what to think about that. I would be delighted if it remains ourselves. That could have been very interesting if no one else turned up and it had just been the two of us. But it does look like some people are popping in, which is nice to see. Hello there. So, I don't have a particular agenda for this. I wanted to do it, I think, largely because I had wanted to have a video out on this channel for Trans Day of Visibility, and like life didn't cooperate. And obviously I did have something go up over on Council of Geeks, and it felt weird to me not having something also come up here. So in lieu of anything else, I did decide to do a live stream, even though I've never done one on this channel before. Prior to this, I've always only done them over on Council of Geeks. And I did think about doing this there, but I decided, like, I really did want the focus in this one to not just be whatever geeky stuff sort of gets tossed out, and to have it focus more on, well, this. Well, thank you. Like, I'm really happy with this top. This came fairly recently, and was quite cheap. So I actually the Ben Shapiro video. That I have mixed feelings about it now that it's out, but it was cathartic to make, certainly. If you have a moment, I'd be interested in hearing what the day is all about. Okay, well, what Trans Day of Visibility can mean, it will vary from person to person. The general idea is for trans people who are out and are able to safely make themselves known to be more public about the fact that they are trans, because it's fairly common that you will either have trans people who are not out as trans and are still living some day-to-day existence with, closeted, what have you, as the gender that they were assigned at birth. But also, flip side, you can have trans people who pass. I think honestly, you get that slightly more often with trans men than trans women. There are trans women who pass, but like, it's the minority. But it encourages people to make the world aware of their transness. And the idea is to both sort of empower people to speak up for themselves if they kind of need that extra push, and also for someone like me who's fairly out, it gives me a chance to make myself more visible, to be a reminder for those who aren't or who can't be, that you're not alone. Because I think that's the greatest reminder that you can have, that you're not alone, is to see people who you connect with and who remind you of your experiences that maybe make you otherwise get singled out. Oh, okay. I'm sorry to hear that, Brian. I mean, it's a journey. both what you go through, but also like making people aware. It's all a journey because like I basically came out fully publicly last year, but like friends of mine have known, and like significant people in my life have known for a long time. But in a way, you know, I was still kind of closeted up until coming out publicly, even though a ton of people knew. And like and this channel has been up for ages, and like I perform in drag and burlesque shows, but I was still kind of closeted. I honestly, I still kind of am a little bit because I'm not out at work, at my day job, because much as I love doing this, both here and on Council of Geeks, this doesn't pay the bills yet. So um, I can't even claim to be 100% out because I've still got a place that I go, yeah, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, where no matter how I'm feeling, and sometimes I do feel pretty masculine, no matter how I'm feeling, I can't go into work like this. It's like that the options off the table. So even though I don't normally think of myself as closeted, yeah, I still get it. My other half is closeted. Well, best of luck to you both, Sherry, because like that's honestly that's tough for everyone involved. It's because if you have somebody that you care about who you know is kind of suffering in a way, you know, by either still coming to terms with themselves or not able to make the world aware. I mean, that's a hard thing to witness, just as it is a hard thing to experience and to go through yourself. Um, I'm a regular dad here in England and appreciate that. Well, I mean, for all that I'm looking, I'm a pretty regular dad too. Actually, took my kid to a water park today. Um, so you know, it's I think parenting's kind of the universal. Oh yeah, kind of language sometimes. I think my first time seeing you presenting fully femula. Oh, thank you, Jessica. I'm a little bit annoyed. I had to take my nail polish. Well, I was gonna have to take my nail polish off eventually, anyways, because as I said, I'm not out at work, so Monday morning, whatever's on my nails has to come off. Um, but also, like, it was all chipped from being at the water park, so I didn't want to be here with chipped and janky looking nails. Appreciate your explaining the day. I am more than happy to, and I mean that really sincerely because I I think sometimes people, be they cisgender or straight or just don't have a lot of experience with a whole lot of the varieties that are out there. I think a lot of people have a fear of asking questions because they're worried about coming across as rude or, you know, just just being called out for it in some fashion. For my part, I mean, to be fair, there are plenty of people who just get tired of answering questions. I don't really. So whenever I feel that a question is being asked in sincerity and with a desire to better understand, I am always happy to answer it. It's only when I get the whiff of somebody asking me a question as a logic trap, to try and trick me into saying something that they can then go aha and some BS of that nature. That's the only time that I'll get annoyed with questions. So it's never about the words of the questions being asked. It's all about the tone and the vibe I get off the person asking it. Because anything can be asked in good faith or in bad faith. And I'm always happy to engage with good faith, even if it's somebody who like has no base level. Your sense is spot on. Like, well, I've been doing this a while. I've actually got, I don't even know how many years ago. What? I'm gonna make a leap. Say 2.5 years ago. I did a video. This is back when I was still doing the Dear Vera videos fairly regularly on this channel, where I would actually answer direct questions. And I answered one that I knew, like I knew, and this guy had been around on my channel for a while, and I knew that he was not an ally. Let me put it that way. And I answered his question in a manner befitting the tone that I took from his question. And there were some people when I put that video out who were like, I think you're being overly harsh and you're reading too much into this. Except that that exact same person who asked me that question commented on that video, and his statement included an all caps sentence of, I would never let a man in a dress anywhere near my kids because they're sick. So that was kind of cathartic, that even as people were coming to defend this jackass, he outed himself as exactly what he was. So that was kind of nice to be validated, to be like, no, don't question my sense of the people asking. I'm pretty good at this. I have like one femme shirt. It makes me happy. Well, you have to start somewhere. I forget. Oh God. Oh, I was trying to remember what the first thing I ever bought was. It was a it was a green thong, and it didn't fit very well at all. I might even still have it. I think I kept it for strictly sentimental purposes, because it didn't fit worth a damn, and it still doesn't. Um, oh, I have not thought about that in ages. Wow. I started dressing, but my biggest hatred is my back and broad shoulders. I can't corset using shapewear to get rid of them. Any advice on concealing shoulders? Um, Particularly broad or muscular shoulders are tough. And honestly, there isn't all that much you can do. I mean, there are some outfits that will put a little less emphasis on them, but all that can do is like not bring extra attention versus what's already going on. So like for me, I'm fortunate in so much as I have a pretty gentle slope off my shoulder. I don't have, I think largely just because I'm not in great shape. So it's tough. I mean, a few things that can help distract: if you have a wig that is particularly voluminous and is coming forward off the shoulders, that can help kind of mask it a bit. Other than that, wearing something like this, probably not the best idea, because it's going to bring more attention to your shoulders. But it is tough, because pretty much all of us, when I say us, I mean people who sign male at birth, wishing to present feminine. We've all got something that we feel gives us away. And the thing is, pretty much whatever it is, you can't fully get rid of it. You can't fully cover it. So you kind of have to accept the fact that this is something that clocks me as not being a woman. But the thing is that you will always notice it way more than other people notice it. That's not to say nobody will, or nobody will, figure out the truth based off that. But like, we notice our faults way more. Like I can see myself in this camera and I could nitpick the crap out of what I'm seeing right now if I wanted to, but I don't want to. So part of it's a mental game, and kind of, I mean, like in my case, it's my height. I'm 6 feet tall before I put on heels. And while that may not automatically mark me out as a man, if you see someone who, even if you think that's a woman, you see a 6 foot tall woman, you're going to take a second look. And when somebody takes a second look, you know what? They're probably going to figure it out. Have you ever worn a bridal dress? I have not. I have done a bride burlesque number and also a photo shoot in that outfit, but it's not a proper bridal dress. It is something that I put together and kind of faked with a combination of a few different pieces that all have a bridal sort of feel to them. But an actual proper bridal dress, no, I have never gotten to wear one, not even like to try it on and mess around. I'd like to. I'm not saying I want to get married again, because I don't think I do. Um, I love my partner. She's amazing, but like she knows I don't think I want to get married again. Honestly, it's mostly just about the paperwork. Because they 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 really need to make getting married as difficult and long-winded as it is to get divorced. Because if they did that, I think way more people would take serious consideration of what it is they're doing. Uh, what about a scarf that might draw the excuse me. What about a scarf that might draw the eye to the neck rather than the shoulders? That's not a bad idea. If you have something that would just be just sort of tied in the front and sort of coming down, or honestly, just a particularly blingy neck piece. Again, not something that goes out too far, but something like a pendant, like a really eye-catching pendant, might help. Again, doesn't really cover it, but it distracts. It keeps the eyes off the broadness of your shoulders. Uh, that comment, you will always notice it way more than others, is a true statement. Oh yeah. I mean, and like the thing is, that's not even like restricted to trans people or cross dressers or whatever. We are always our own harshest critics. Like whoever you are, like I can present masculine and look in the mirror and find stuff to be annoyed with. So like I can't win. Either way I go, I can't win. Um, 21-year-old cis female, usually identify as straight. Usually, nice to keep your options open. I was attracted to a female for the first time recently. It surprised me a bit, but it made me happy too. Any advice for this? It's so new to me. The biggest thing that I would say for anything relating to that, new attractions, is to do your best to, well, two things. Do your best to um, explore it to whatever degree that you're able. Now, you may run into a problem where if your attraction is very specific to one person, if that person is not reciprocating, obviously that's a bit of a roadblock. So that's why I have my second thing: explore it safely. That doesn't mean just go out and start hooking up with other women or what have you. So I would say if you're feeling that, try and find a way to explore it safely if you can, because that kind of thing can have a tendency to come back. Like these sorts of questions and desires about your gender identity and your sexuality, they rarely go away if ignored, and they tend to come back eventually. And when they do, it's probably for everybody's benefit for you to have kind of a handle on what the deal is when it does. I just wanted to say I think you're great. Thanks for always being so honest and open. I don't know how else to be at this point. Like it's like I do appreciate the compliment, but there's a part of me that's like, I don't know how to not be like this. Um yeah, yeah, like there are people, and I mean, I'm not going to say that like what I have online, either here or on Council of Geeks, isn't to some degree a persona. It is, because it's me curated. Like it's me showing very specific sides, but what I show is always, it's always me. It's never affected. I'm never playing a character, just because like I have the patience for that. And I like acting. I like pretending to be somebody else, but I'm going to do it, like, give me a script, give me a bigger stage than YouTube, for crying out loud. Uh, you're looking great. Thank you, Kevin. I want to dress in turn of the century Gibson girl type fashion. Do you have any advice for wigs that are styled to be pulled back? I am not a great person to ask about wigs. I am one of a big part of why I love this so much is I don't have to mess around with wigs anymore because I kind of hate them. Like they look amazing. Like I kind of have a similar relationship with wigs that I have with false lashes, which is that if they didn't look so damn good, I would swear them off forever. But with wigs, because my own hair, I'm now really happy with, I was able to actually swear them off. So I rarely did anything fancy with wigs. I didn't maintain the ones I had very well. I was more likely to just replace them. I'm just not a good resource for wigs, like at all. See now that I take my glasses off, I got to get like this close to the screen to be able to read anything. Uh, I'm so sorry. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna. There we go. Because otherwise, you're gonna like see my pores, and it's just a mess. Hope your day's going well. It's been a really nice day. Thanks, great advice. Oh, that's that's good. I'm glad to hear that. And in any case, best of luck with that. I have a question for you, Vera. I've just started cross-dressing, wearing wigs and makeup for the past 2 months privately. I've not come out to my family yet because they are homophobic. So I didn't see a question in there, so I don't know if I should be waiting for a follow-up. But oh, here it is. And I have been for the past couple of years, finally getting comfortable with my sexual identity. I feel like I am genderqueer. Now I do feel more comfortable in expressing myself my more feminine side. I feel like there might be more coming in after that. If there's more to actually get to the question, keep it coming. I will get to it. I'm gonna just jump back up before stuff vanishes up the chat feed though. Hello from Vermont. I'm from Vermont. Northeast Kingdom represent. Said nobody ever, because nobody's proud of being from the Northeast Kingdom. Why did I do that? My gosh. I feel compelled to confess that I am a traditional chap, though I hasten to add far from intolerant. But all said, you are most courageous folks who evidently are being honest with yourselves. Thank you. And like I try and be very appreciative of that sentiment because as much as I would love everyone to understand me, that's never going to happen. But if someone can go, look, I don't get it, but it's fine, that that honestly, that touches me. Like I personally don't take this as a metric for anyone else's feelings. I personally still consider that a form of allyship. I do for my part because there are certainly active allies, but people just being okay with you and not hassling you. That could be a big deal sometimes, especially if you're not used to it. If you're not out at work, how do you get away with your hairstyle? Well, I stick it under the cap, same way that I do over on the Council of Geeks channel most of the time. Although I have started taking off the cap more often because I've stopped caring as much. I mean, I don't wear these frames. I don't wear dangly earrings. I don't put makeup on. I definitely don't wear this. But I've had the hair down a few times, but it's not. And like once you get rid of the rest of this, the hair is not as much of a giveaway, like completely on its own. No way. Oh, you're in the Northeast Kingdom too? I'm so sorry. Look, I'm allowed to crap on the area because I live here and I grew up here, so I have the right to talk crap. Vermonter, whoa! Vermonter's in the house. What are the odds? Have you seen Dumbo? No, and thankfully, having asked my kid if she wanted to see it and she doesn't, I don't have to. So I won't. How do you manage times when Vera wants to be Vera, but life says, no, you need to be Nathaniel now? I'm not sure I'm wording that properly. Okay, I do get what you're asking, Tracy. Um, the way I kind of balance that is that, and this is kind of the major benefit of me. If you saw the video that went up on Council of Geeks today, sort of letting the wall that used to separate my male and female existences kind of crumble and fall apart. Which was that when I had a more hard line and a rigid definition of what masculine me and feminine me was, to feel fulfilled as my feminine side, I would have to do all this. Letting that wall fall apart over time means that I am now able to feel enough feminine fulfillment off of much smaller things. Like I can just honestly, if I can be lounging around the house and be like, I don't want to go out today, and I'll put on pink flannel pajamas and switch to these and put on dangly earrings, and that's enough. And that will help connect me to my feminine side. I don't have to do as much work now. And another element of that is the fact that I am on hormone adjustments now. I'm not on estrogen, but I'm on spironolactone, which is an anti-testosterone. So, and the whole idea of doing that was that my doctor and I, because this is prescribed, so the whole idea was to sort of bring my default setting. So like if this is my masculine, this is my feminine, my default was always leaning masculine. So by bringing down my testosterone level, the idea is to bring my default closer to a neutral, or as close as I can get, so that it is an equal amount of effort to either go masculine or feminine, instead of being I'm basically masculine unless I put in all this work to become feminine. So finding balance has actually gotten so much easier than it used to be. I have a question. I want to cross dress, but my boyfriend is kind of low key shaming me not to. He loves me very much and I love him, but he says he doesn't want to date a woman. What do I do? Well, part of that might have to do with what your own need driving the desire to cross dress is, because what it sounds like is like his fear is that you cross-dressing is step one in an eventual desire to transition into being a woman. So the first question is whether or not you know whether that's the case for you. And if it isn't, and it's just something you want to explore, to have fun with, to make that as clear to him as you can, that this is not something with a fixed destination for you. If you don't know the answer to that, honestly, you should still probably be honest with him about that, but it may not completely fix his concern, because that's, at least from what you're saying, it sounds like that's what's going to be nagging kind of at the back of his mind. So it's tricky sometimes. I would call that a semi-supportive. It's like well-intentioned, but there's roadblocks. Do you have any work friends that you are out to? I have one coworker who I know is aware, because he actually came to a Rocky Horror party that my daughter's mother and I hosted when we were still together. And so he saw me done up as Frankenfurter. So he knows. There's one person at work who should know, like, unless he is incredibly selective, because like I'm very rarely Facebook friends with coworkers. But anyone who I am, they're like, I've now, 2 years in a row drawn a lot of attention to it on Trans Day of Visibility. So theoretically he should know, unless he's like just never on, never checks a feed. Other than that, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if other people knew, but I honestly don't know past that. Dean Richards, the critic on WGN News in Chicago, gave Dumbo a D. I give it an A. Well, I mean, like, look, if you liked the movie, you probably don't want to know my opinion. You don't want me to go see, because I am severely biased against this thing on premise and principle. So, like, I was probably never gonna like it. That's the honest truth. I'm in Connecticut. Whoa, so much New England area. Fair enough. I do love my home state area, but it's best for me to be closeted here. Yeah, the Northeast Kingdom is not the most accommodating place. It's probably the most conservative corner of the state consistently. But I mean, that said, I'm relatively out in town at this point. Oh, Rhode Island too. Good grief. Um, so like I'm pretty out. Not in that, like, I don't go around town like this, but mainly just not the makeup. Or like maybe not this top, but like I'll wear these glasses and these kinds of earrings, and my hair's out, so people know pretty well. You mentioned a daughter. Does she know you as Vera? I mean, yes and no. She knows about my gender fluidity, but like to her, I'm just her father. I'm just daddy, regardless of how I look. So she doesn't like have an understanding of a separation of personas, because that's a lot to ask of her to digest. But like she knows that I can look like this sometimes. I mean, she's in bed by now, but like if I popped into a room and said, and told her good night one extra time looking like this, I would not get a weird look. She'd just go good night, and that'd be it. uh I love that we're clustered geographically. Yeah, a little bit. I was about to go watch it, and then, oh my God, live stream. Thank you. Oh, I don't mean to be keeping people from going out and doing their plans. Oh, okay, here we go. Anyway, to get to the point, I just want to know, um, how do I know when would be the right time to come out to them, or should I keep it private from them? When it comes to family and whether or not to come out to them and when to do it, for me, the big X factor and all that is always whether or not you are in some way dependent on them. And I don't mean like emotionally, I mean logistically, I mean financially. Are you still living at home? That's kind of the big question, because if the answer to that is yes, as much as I hate to do it, more often than not, I've advised people to stay closeted until they are out of the house and more or less self sufficient, because trans youth is a disproportionately high percentage of the homeless population. And the reason for that is they get thrown out of their homes and they don't have the means to support themselves because they were discovered by or came out to parents who would rather never see them again than support them. So if you are dependent on a family that you do not believe will accept you, you need to wait until you're in a situation where you are no longer dependent on them. And hate, I hate giving that advice, but I stand by it. I realized I was non-binary recently after a bout of dysphoria that really surprised me. I'm thinking about taking hormones, but honestly, I find it kind of scary. There are so many steps I have to take. The thing with hormones in general is that you just got to know what you're getting into. Oh, does the stuff you take have any negative side effects? Yes, but in my case, it doesn't matter. So, like, the big concern with what I'm taking, which again, spironolactone, it's just just a testosterone lowering drug because I'm not on estrogen. Um, the main fear there is a concern of sterility. And in my case, that wasn't a concern because I already have my kid and I got a vasectomy anyway. So I didn't really want to be potent anymore. So that was not really a concern. Other side effects, I mean, some of the things that happen, whether or not they're negative, depends on sort of how you think about these things. So, like, my sex drive is down a little bit. It didn't nosedive, but it's not what it used to be. Sexual performance is unaffected, and having just said those words will probably get this demonetized when I um, when I put it up after this is over. Because that happened on the last Council of Geeks live stream. I think because we talked about whether or not Dumbledore was a top or a bottom. So go figure. But yeah, so there are things like that that happen. But again, if you're getting them prescribed, which is what you should always do, most of these things are things that your doctor would talk to you about and about managing what works for you. Just a random question. Are you watching original Doctor Who? If so, where are you along in it? Well, yes, I am watching classic Doctor Who. I can't really say where I am in it because I'm not doing it chronologically. I'm jumping all over the place because I'm not always in the mood for one Doctor or another. So I like one of these days I need to figure out, like, just get a list of how many Doctor Who stories, classic stories there are and how many I've seen, and just like have a percentage of how many I've seen. Because I would like to know too, because I don't. Happy to join the chat. Oh, nice to have you here. Is there one dress you have that makes you want to twirl? I have several dresses that make me want to twirl till I get dizzy. I have a few. I have a few flowy dresses, and I've also got a couple of skirts that do flow out. That it's about how it moves, and sometimes it moves in a way that's like, yeah, you just want to keep spinning until you puke. Northern New York here. Jeez, this whole corner of the world, Massachusetts. Man, yeah, it is a total New England live stream takeover. I'm loving it. Excuse me. Looking amazing in your dress. Well, it's not a full dress. It's actually just a top. I mean, it goes down low enough. It could be a very short dress, depending on how much I want to risk getting in trouble going outside. Are you still in the Northeast Kingdom? Yeah, actually, that is my my burlesque tagline when I perform is Queen of the Northeast Kingdom. You have interesting wallpaper, by the way. I haven't seen a room with wallpaper in forever. Well, yeah, I mean, one of the things about living in New England, lots of old houses and lots of houses with old aesthetics. Let's just go with that. I come here and first thing I hear is you reading, I'm from Connecticut. I'm CT2. Yeah, I myself, Vermont, but yeah, we got Connecticut people in here. NYC, luckily a very LGBTQ tolerant area. Yeah, no, I mean, New York City's all over the place, like literally neighborhood by neighborhood, block by block. Like I lived in New York City for 4 years, so I know that whole deal. Can't stay long because I'm at school. Just stopping in to say hey. Well, hey to you too. Nice to have you stop in. Would there be an issue if you were out with everyone at your work, or only if you came to work presenting female? If I were out but not female presenting, I just feel like I wouldn't be taken seriously in terms of being out. To be like, what was that about? When we found out that thing that like there's no visual evidence of. And I mean, like the main look. Here's the thing. I don't get along well enough with enough of my coworkers where it would like hurt my feelings if they were uncomfortable around me. It would annoy me, but it wouldn't hurt my feelings. And there are protections in the state where I work that that you are not supposed to be able to be fired for your gender identity. However, having been married to someone who worked in HR and knowing enough about HR, I know full well that if I come out and they don't like it because I work at a conservatively minded company staffed with conservative people and owned by conservative people, if they don't like it, they can and will find a reason to get rid of me. And it won't be this, because they're not allowed to fire me for this, but they'll find something. They'll restructure, they'll get rid of my job, they'll find a performance-based reason. There's a million ways to get rid of somebody for legitimate reasons if you don't want them there. And I'm just trying not to give them a reason to not want me there, which sucks. I don't like it, but it's reality. Can't say just wanted to say hi. Oh, hey, Ari. Nice to see you. Sorry you can't stay, but thanks for popping in. Any advice for trans teenagers? 16 recently came out as FTM transgender. You look so beautiful. I honestly don't, because I wasn't out as a teen. So like that's never been part of my own experience. And even if I had, I'm 37 now. So like even if I had been out, my experience as a teenager would have been pretty different from what it would be like now. And also that's highly affected by geography and region. So I would like to think, depending on where you are, there's probably a support structure somewhere, whether it's within the school or within the community, some kind of outreach or group, or ways to find other people who are supportive or who are like you. So figure out what resources exist at your school or in your area would, I think, be the best place to start, probably. I'm not LGBT myself, but I'm glad to be in a non-hateful area. That's always a good thing. Like it's just not to be surrounded by people who are slinging hate, whether it's directed at how you identify or not. It's just nice not to be around that. I had a friend that found out I had my navel pierced. Ooh, okay, jealous. I was in my late 20s at the time. I told him I was told by him I should remove it and never speak of it again. That's a shame. Like if I wasn't like that, my midriff is one of my big self-conscious areas. And if it wasn't, I would love to have a navel piercing, but like I would never want to show it off because I'm so self-conscious about that whole middle area. And if I'm not going to show it off, I wouldn't want to do it, because I'm a narcissistic exhibitionist. So like if I'm going to do it, I want people to be able to see it. Good night, all. It's 2:34 a.m. in Cambridge. Oh goodness, forgot you were in the UK. Thank you for stopping in. Oh, you're a Doctor Who fan. Oh yes. If you only know me from this channel, if you pop on over to Council of Geeks, I talk about Doctor Who a lot. So thanks for the advice. Although sound effects sound fine to me, and Dumbledore was a power bottom. Now, see, my actual interpretation, I think Dumbledore might have been a switch, but Voldemort would not ever take what he would think of as a subservient sexual position, which means that Dumbledore became exclusively bottom to Voldemort trying to please him. That's my take on it. Doctor Who is amazing. Oh, yeah. Like, my favorite way to describe Doctor Who, like, its appeal to me, is Doctor Who is the best show on television, except for when it's not. You don't need to warn anyone how you decide to present. You be you. Oh, thank you, Edward. It just felt fair. I didn't want to accidentally spray it on anyone who wasn't expecting it. So far, only watched the 4th and 6th Doctor Classic Who. So far. Oh God, what? Why have you seen 6th Doctor before like other good ones? I'm sorry. Goodness. Columbia, love your videos and the work you do. I was wondering if I could do a drawing of you. Oh God. I mean, yeah, I would be immensely flattered. If you want me to be able to see it, you can tag me on Twitter, Instagram. You could hit me up in a comment. You can email me either verawild@gmail.com or councilofgeeks@gmail.com. I would be incredibly flattered. So like there's a ton of ways. Paducah, Kentucky. In London. Oh God, Brian, it's late. Go to bed if you're in London. From Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Oh my goodness. You look great in red. I Dark reds do work well for me. I've come to acknowledge that. Chicagoland, Illinois. That's not confusing. It seems like you got to go to Burlington for anything, and that isn't feasible for me. Well, yeah, but basically, my social life is in Burlington, and my partner's in Montpelier. So I'm driving minimum 45 minutes away from where I live to have a life. So there you go. Um, do you know if there's a group in the area for trans folks? I honestly don't know because I haven't, because sort of my own trans experience has been this weird thing, and it's not like I never would have felt comfortable just showing up if there is a group, just showing up going, I'm a trans woman, because I'm not. So I don't really know what there is. In terms of the Northeast Kingdom area. I should. I live here, but I don't really know. Gender spectrum fluctuates from 69 to 666. Oh goodness. Thank you for answering my questions, even though your answers make me feel sad. I wish I could always give happy, light, fluffy answers to every question. I really do, but I don't want to lie to people. Sometimes the answers based off my understanding and my experience aren't always fun. Have you seen Happy on the Sci-Fi Channel? I haven't. I've seen ads. I've gotten them like before some YouTube videos, but I haven't actually seen that one. Let's see. I think if someone started with 6 with no knowledge of the show, it was to be like, "Whoa, what is this crazy, amazing show?" Referring to Doctor Who. What is this crazy show? Maybe amazing. I don't know. Like I think the Sixth Doctor is just, he's unpleasant on the show. At least he's good on Big Finish. He's great actually on Big Finish. Just notice here. Oh yeah, I love this. Actually, I'm super excited. I got sent a whole bunch of stuff to my PO box for my birthday, and this is actually new because this was my original one, which is cracked and has been for a little while. And I've been afraid was going to break further, and I have not been able to find this anywhere. I got this at a vintage store, and when it first cracked, I thought, well, I'll get a replacement, but I could not find this anywhere. And somebody apparently found it and sent it to me. So now I have an intact one, and the cracked one is a backup, which makes me very, very happy. I'm in love with Paul McGann's voice, Eighth Doctor love. Legitimate. That's, yeah. I always feel this weird sense of compatriotism with any assigned male at birth on hormones because I'm on spironolactone as a cis girl for PCOS. So in the back of my head, I'm like, testosterone blocker buddies. I'm not PCOS. I don't know what those letters stand for. So now I'm kind of curious. If you don't mind sharing, that's a little too personal. You do not have to answer. You're not on camera. You didn't start a live stream to be able to blab about yourself. You're under no obligation to say jack. Also, VR, could I do a drawing of you too? Look, I'll just put this out there. Like, I've always kind of like secretly wanted more fan art of me, but like I don't know how to ask or encourage it without seeming like a self-important jackass. Like, please draw me and send it to me. Like, I want to say that, but like that seems like self-indulgent and important even by my standards. So, but yeah, God, please, pretty please. You're right. I got work. See y'all. Okay. Well, have a good night's sleep. Hope to see you again in Montreal. You were very. Oh, goodness. You're very beautiful. I had a lot of fun performing in Montreal. That was a haul though. Like cuz not this past October, but the one before, I performed in the Montreal Burlesque Festival. Had a lot of fun doing that. The thing is though, that's an expensive endeavor because unless you're a headliner, which I'm not, you don't get paid to be in a festival. And even if you do, they're not going to pay for your hotel or your travel. So I enjoyed going there, but um, things are tight finance wise. So I don't know when I'll get up there again. Let's see. Happy is amazing. If you like dark with zany, give it a try. Like that can work for me, but like I'm really picky on dark material because there's dark just for the sake of being dark. And then there's, dark with a purpose, dark with meaning, which I can like very much. I mean, I was intrigued by the trailers. I might give it a look at some point. Honesty is always best. You always deliver here. Thank you. I do what I can. I'm watching Trial of a Time Lord, and I've heard the Sixth Doctor is more tolerable in that than the other episodes. The Fourth Doctor I loved immediately. Well, yes, Tom Baker's amazing. Like, if you're gonna like Doctor Who at all, you're gonna like the Fourth Doctor. He's not everybody's favorite, but I don't know anyone who's like, oh no, he's not for me. I have not personally encountered that. Maybe, I mean, somebody will probably say so now, but no, don't worry. Asking, you shall receive. Fan art, we shall draw. Oh, touch my glittery little queer heart. Look for support by Googling. Very Northeast crowd tonight. Yes, it is. But here's a shout out from Dixieland. Oh, well, welcome, Ashley. I am not going to insult you by doing a Southern accent, which would be painful for everybody. Polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is a misnomer, basically irregular periods. Okay. Basic science, fat moving to chest and hips can lead to insulin being weird, which leads to high T. Oh, well, all right. Okay. I had heard of that. It had just been a while, and I cannot remember abbreviations or acronyms like ever. Like I've got like a blank spot for them. It's one of the things that drives me nuts on the regular live streams over on Council of Geeks, because people will be like, "Have you ever seen this?" And it's like a TV show or something that's like 4 words long, or like an anime, and they'll give me just this string of letters that everyone within the fandom knows what that means, but I'm looking at that going, I don't know what that is. So thank you very much for explaining. So yes, testosterone blocker buddies. Sure, let's go there. Do you like Red Dead Redemption 2? I've never played it. I never played the first one. I don't have current gen gaming stuff. Like I stopped at the PS3, and I think I think Red Dead was on the PS3. I can't remember. It's not really my kind of game though. I don't like sandboxes don't really appeal to me that much because I like having a clear goal. It can really annoy me in a game where like I feel like I don't know what the game wants me to do. So when a game goes like, "Oh, well, do whatever you like." I kind of like, well, I don't know what to do. I don't know what is going to get me a best result. I don't know what's going to give me the most fun, and I just kind of lock up and then I don't want to play it. I just wanted to say that I'm enjoying the live chat. Um, love the channel, been a fan for a while. I have to say you look stunning in red. Favorite Doctor is the Fourth. Solid pick. You're fine. I'm just glad you cared enough to ask for the translation. But again, just thank you for asking, for answering. Asking. I started to say ask, but you answered, and then I tried like mid-word. It fell apart on me. How do you like Peter Capaldi's Doctor? I love Peter Capaldi's Doctor. honestly, and this, I suppose this is a spoiler for next time I re-rank the doctors, but who knows? It might change again by then. I think Capaldi's my favorite doctor. And like he was edging up to it, and I had rationalizations for why he wasn't quite in the top spot, but no, no, I think I got to give it to him personally. That's not universal, but I really love him. Uh, that's an interesting point to come in at. Oh, Carolyn, thank you for showing up. Wonderful to see you here. So happy to be here tonight. It's really brightened my day. Oh, that is wonderful to hear. I wish I could draw. I'd for sure draw you both, Vera and Nathaniel. Also, I have to say I'm very impressed with how perfectly you said Saskatchewan. You can thank the arrogant worms for the fact that I know how to say Saskatchewan, because they have referenced it a few times in a few songs, and I don't like. Are they still a thing? Because I discovered them in college, so I don't know if that's still if that's a reference that has completely just dated me, but that's why I know how to say it. I do love Doctor Who and found you on Council of Geeks. I mean, a lot of people had. I feel and sometimes I feel like I neglect this channel a bit, and I do actually have some very specific stuff planned that is going to be on here. Actually, once I end the live stream, I might actually shoot a video that will end up being on here at a later time. But you know, it's trying to find the balance with video production and work and parenting and having some semblance of a social life and having a partner. And I don't sleep. I never considered that about sandbox games. I personally love the format because of the lack of structure. Oh yeah, I mean, like some people love being able to go anywhere and do anything. I like a specific goal. I like linearity in a video game. Like I love like your basic RPGs that go from point A to point B to point C. I like a platformer. You're on the left side of the screen. Move to the right until you hit a goal. Like I like something where I know what I'm trying to do and why I'm trying to do it. Capaldi is my favorite, at least for the newer. Oh, lovely. PC was best in series. Oh, okay. So Peter Capaldi was best in Series 8 as Grumpy Doc. I am actually going to disagree with you. For me, Capaldi got better every single series. Because his first series, he was very grumpy. Series 9, you could see he was really trying very hard to be nice and was almost kind of trying too hard. And then I feel like Series 10 got the balance of him just being comfortable with what he was. And I feel like he has more of an arc as a characterization of the Doctor across his 3 series than most do. And it's part of why I really love him and the part. To me, Tennant is my Doctor because I was a kid when I watched his era. I mean, like, Tennant is a lot of people's favorites, and Tennant is great. I rank him significantly lower than a lot of people seem to. I still love him, but he's kind of in the middle for me, which gets me in crosshairs sometimes. Aside from Doctor Who, what shows do you like? Well, I watched Gotham, which is ending. I watched Game of Thrones, which is ending. I like Westworld. I'm trying to think of stuff that's still currently on. Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I like quite a bit. Legends of Tomorrow, I'm enjoying. The new She-Ra. I actually like that quite a bit. Arrogant Worms. I haven't heard that one for a while. Somebody caught it. There we go. I'm the only one who loved Arachnid in the UK. I don't know if you're the only one. I didn't. I kind of hated that episode. Let's see. Hi, Vera. I've always appreciated your candid and insightful commentary on various issues and just wanted to say thanks. Hugs. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks for the welcome. Stopping in during transit. Well, been going for an hour, so probably not going to go too much later anyway, so you probably won't miss too much more. I also loved It Takes You Away in Resolution. Now, those ones I did enjoy. It Takes You Away I loved. Resolution I liked a lot, but didn't quite love. I did love It Takes You Away, though. That was a great episode. When Tennant left, I was spoiled. I was a spoiled Doctor Who fan and didn't really appreciate Matt Smith until years later. So I try and enjoy Doctors as they are on the air now. I mean, when your favorite goes, it can make it tough to accept whoever's new. I think Eccleston would have been my favorite Doctor if he'd done a few more seasons. I have a feeling that was probably the case for a lot of people, actually. Have you seen Russian Doll? Thoughts if yes. I haven't. My partner Liz has watched it and has kind of been cautionary to me about it. What I mean by that is she knows what kinds of things are difficult for me to watch and enjoy and get through. And she has kind of cautioned me that some of that sort of stuff is at play in Russian Doll. I don't like to use the word like triggered because I don't like have a panic attack. I don't have PTSD or something, but I just get unsettled and in a way I don't enjoy. That was why I couldn't finish House on Haunted Hill or Haunting of Hill House. Whichever was the name that for the Netflix show that like everybody loved. I did 2 episodes and I had to bow out because I couldn't deal with that much childhood trauma. Like watching children get traumatized is really hard for me to do. And they basically could have captioned that show and just called it Childhood Trauma, the series. So after 2 episodes, I realized, oh, this is going to keep happening. I need to go. So kind of with you on the spider episode, felt kind of bland. I love that even though like the reason I had it on this channel is to talk more about the LGBTQ stuff, it still eventually became a Doctor Who channel anyway. Not a complaint. I just find it funny. I actually thought Chris Noth was funny in that episode. I like him as an actor. I mean, look, I like Chris Noth too, and for what he was asked to do, he played the part well. I just hate the character and feel he serves absolutely no function in an episode that I already didn't really like. So that's just my take. I had a fangirl meltdown when Tom Baker left, so I can relate. Oh goodness, yeah. I mean, oh man, Baker was there for 7 years. I can't even begin to imagine what that was like when he left. If I love The Good Place, am I likely to enjoy Brooklyn Nine-Nine? Yes. General vibe and tone and style to the comedy is very similar. Overall, things are very different. They're playing in very different playgrounds in terms of themes and the types of characters and everything, but the general approach to comedy and the nature of the humor, very similar. So if you like The Good Place, I would check out Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Did you see Maniac? I didn't. I've got that on my list, but I just keep never getting around to it. So I can't tell you what to make of it because I haven't seen it. Me too with the meltdown when Baker left. Got to love Peter Davison. Davison is one of the only ones that like I still don't get him. I'm trying, but still haven't gotten there. Thank you for being so open and candid in your videos. By the way, Tom Baker better than other doctors. It's a valid position. What would you like think of Chibnall made Chris Noth president of USA and to be a major plot in Series 12? Honestly, I'd probably hate that. I mean, it would all everything's always execution dependent. There are things that I think are terrible ideas that end up working, and which honestly is one of my favorite things to see. If I can see something that I don't think is going to work and be really taken in by it, that's a wonderful experience. But given all the execution issues with Series 11, at least from where I sat, could we not? Thanks for the stream, Vera. Have a great night, everyone. Work comes early. Haunting of Hill House, legit triggering, not for me. Yeah. Thoughts on Colin Baker as the Doctor? If you want to appreciate Colin Baker, you have to listen to Big Finish, because his episodes of the show are not good. And he's not great in them. Do you have a plan for doing a video or series of videos on how LGBT representation in media has changed over the years? Probably not in a very targeted way, because that's the kind of somewhat more academic sort of work that requires more research than I feel prepared to do. I mean, I use the phrase I'm allergic to research, but the reality is I have ADD, and doing the kind of focused deep dive research that a topic like that kind of demands to do it right, like, is really hard for me. I mean, it's why I ramble about the stuff that I do. And even with stuff, when I talk about LGBTQ stuff, I frame it through things like Harry Potter or Star Wars or what have you, because that's stuff that I already know. And the amount of additional research I have to do is like maybe looking up a couple of behind the scenes things and like getting a couple of quotes, exactly the exact words. I don't have to do a ton of additional research to feel like I can talk about that topic well enough for my purposes, because like my brain just doesn't process that kind of heavy research very well at all. So I'm really hesitant to try and take on topics that I don't think you could do well if you can't do that. And I kind of can't. I am going to wrap it up soon. Opinion on Matt Smith. I loved Matt Smith. He was my favorite at the time he was on, because I mean, honestly, part of it was he's my age. So, seeing someone who, it made me feel like, oh, I could be the Doctor. So I like Matt Smith. I still like Matt Smith. I liked him especially when he was on at the time, I think partly for that reason. How do you deal with inconsistent characterization in Gotham? I don't take it seriously. Like, I love Gotham to death, but it is trash. It is my favorite piece of trash on TV, and I love it. But like, I don't take the show seriously enough to get bothered for as much as I love it. Love Matt Smith and Peter Capaldi. I think I connected with their alienness that David Tennant didn't have. That's actually kind of the heart of why Tennant doesn't quite work for me. He's too human. Like, for me, for my taste, because I really like that sense of otherness to the Doctor. So with Tennant feeling much more human in his reactions, in his emotion, and the way he processes things, makes him slightly less interesting to me. Again, me personally. Lots of people love him. That's fine. I'd love to travel with the 13th Doctor way more than the others. However, I don't think her character so far makes for the most interesting possible stories. I'm not sure that the issue with the 13th Doctor is her, is that she can't be interesting with the stories. I just feel like they haven't done much to have her do more than just react to what's going on. I don't think they've put her in a story yet that really plays to much about her. And so again, I think it's a writing problem. I don't think it's even a characterization problem. They have her as a character, and they don't seem to quite know how to use her yet. I'm hoping that gets sorted soon. I love Buffy and Angel. Started great, but season 4 of Angel was total garbage. Worst season of any TV show. I actually like season 4 of Angel. Fight me. Don't really fight me, but I think season 1 of Angel is worse than season 4. I think season 2 is worse than season 4. But that's that could become a whole conversation. It was so wonderful chatting with you, Vera. Thanks for all you do. Keep up a great work. You have a new fan. Thank you, Edward. I appreciate that. Have you watched Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency? I have not watched either version because there's more than one version of that. I haven't seen any of them. I want to, but again, time. There is not enough of it. I am going to wrap this up, I think, in a few minutes, folks. I'm going to see what else I've got here. Hey, neighbor, hopefully you've been having better weather than we have up here in Montreal. Are you planning on making videos on any other shows you're watching? Not at present, because since over on Council of Geeks, I'm moving off of the daily videos. I'm actually kind of it's going to make things easier for me when Gotham ends, and I'll do a wrap-up video on that, and then Game of Thrones ends. I will do episode by episode on that one. But I'm not looking to add more shows because I kind of want to have time dedicated to some more in-depth stuff, stuff that takes a little bit more work on the editing side, maybe takes a little bit more prep. And trying to keep up with anything that has a regular, like, weekly episode release schedule eats into my ability to put more time into other projects. I hope that made sense. Would you recommend Gotham to a Batman the Animated Series fan? No, you will hate it. Actually, most Batman fans hate Gotham. To enjoy Gotham, you need to be prepared to see a marriage of two elements of Batman that almost never get put in the same story. And that is the campy goofiness and the dark brutalness. Usually those are kept very separate. This is for things like Batman Brave and the Bold, the Adam West Show, things like that. This is for The Dark Knight Returns and the movies, and we've got to be serious and everything. Gotham puts them together. So it is dark, it is brutal, it is nasty, it is ridiculous, it is campy, it is insane. So you need to be prepared for those two specific elements to get married, and a lot of people seem to not be able to make that leap. I did, and I love it. Is that water? I'll never tell. The red really suits you. Loved Angel season 1. Season 4 is my least favorite. Why do you like it? Honestly, a big part of why I like season 4 of Angel is I love the Beast. I love him. I think he's incredible, and he's so intimidating. And I thought the build-up to him was great. What he does is great. I think Jasmine works pretty well too. Connor, I don't hate Connor as much as a lot of people do. I think he works actually pretty well as a plot driver. He's annoying as a character, but as a plot driver, he functions. So yeah, there's stuff that I like about season 4 of Angel. What can I say? Do you like Shawshank Redemption? If so, is Andy or Red the main character? I haven't seen Shawshank in ages. I liked it well enough. I just didn't fall in love with it the way a lot of people did, and it's been so long since I've seen it that I don't even feel prepared to answer that. Thanks for the soundtrack for my boring biology homework. You're welcome. So yeah, let's wrap this up. It's been fun. Good night from Tracy. Oh, I know it's not a geeky movie. Just curious. No worries. Sounds fun. Maybe I'll check it out. Cool. Have you read his Dark Materials? I have not, and I'm gonna take that as the last question. So, thanks everybody for tuning in. If you normally follow this channel, thanks for stopping in. If you popped on over here from Council of Geeks, thanks for making the leap. Consider subscribing here too. Shameless plug. Um, so thanks everybody. I've had a good weekend. I've had a good day, and this was a nice way to wrap it up.